Are you a car enthusiast? Then you probably know that Volkswagen or VW owns a bunch of high-end car brands like Bugatti, Lamborghini, and Porsche. But here's the kicker. One of these brands, Porsche, actually tried to take over Volkswagen. This set up a crazy situation where both companies ended up with the majority shares, each trying to outmaneuver the other. So, who came out on top as the ultimate leader? Let's dive into this wild automotive power struggle. The story of Volkswagen takes us back to the 1930s. It was a time when Hitler aimed to create a people's car, an affordable choice for the average citizen. In 1937, a Nazi organization called the German Labor Front set up a company to start car production. This company was later renamed Volkswagen GmbH in 1938. To create the desired car, Ferdinand Porsche, a German and Austrian automotive engineering expert, was hired. His team, along with chief designer Erwin Komenda, created the KDF wagon. The car had a distinctive round shape and an air-cooled flat-four rear-mounted engine, using advanced techniques like wind tunnel testing, typically used in aircraft. Though many people were interested in buying the car through a savings scheme available at that time, the outbreak of World War II in 1939 halted production. The company then started manufacturing military vehicles such as the Kubelwagen and the Schwimmenwagen. Ferdinand Porsche started his own company in 1931 after gaining vast experience in automotive engineering, along with his partners Adolf Rosenberger and Anton Piech. He named it Dr. Ing HCF Porsche GmbH. The name reflected his honorary engineering title. The company's head office was located in Stuttgart, Germany. Initially, the company focused on designing and consulting for motor vehicles, rather than building them under its own name. One of their first important projects, assigned by the German government, led to the creation of the highly successful Volkswagen Beetle. During World War II, Porsche worked on military vehicles such as tanks. Despite losing some contracts, the company contributed significantly to the war effort. Afterward, Ferdinand was arrested but not tried for war crimes. While he was in prison, his son Ferry Porsche led the company. Ferry built a new car model, the Porsche 356, as he couldn't find any existing model that met his standards. This car was initially built in Austria and later in Stuttgart. It used many parts from the Volkswagen Beetle, but later featured many Porsche-designed components. This marked the start of the company's legacy in producing iconic sports cars. Porsche always had a close relationship with Volkswagen. For example, in 1969, Porsche and VW created the VW 914. The 914 had a Volkswagen engine, with the 914-6 having a Porsche engine. In 1976, Porsche produced the 912e and the Porsche 924. The latter model utilized many Audi parts and was built in Audi's factory, which was previously owned by NSU. In 1993, Ferdinand Porsche's grandson, Ferdinand Piech, became VW's CEO and later its chairman, influencing the company's strategies. In 2002, he appointed a new CEO, and he became the VW chairman. He continued to shape the company's strategic direction. By the early 2000s, Porsche wanted more control over Volkswagen to secure its car parts supply. It secretly started buying VW shares and options to buy more. The Volkswagen Act, created by the German government, allowed the privatization of VW. The VW law made it hard for anyone to control Volkswagen because no single shareholder could have more than 20% voting rights, and major decisions required an 80% majority vote, given the German government control. So, even when the company was privately owned, decision-making was in the hands of the government. However, Porsche had some secret ambitious plans. Porsche bought enough options to potentially control 75% of VW's shares. When this became public, Volkswagen's share price increased, causing financial strain on those against the company's stock. Later, a European court ruling reversed the VW law, removing restrictions and making it easier for Porsche to buy a larger stake in Volkswagen and potentially gain more control. This change had a huge impact, allowing Porsche to continue its plan to take over VW by acquiring more shares and increasing its influence. In 2005, Porsche started buying shares of VW. Initially, it bought 20% of the shares, and over time this increased to 29.9%. This investment led people to suspect that Porsche wanted to take over VW. Later in 2007 and 2008, Porsche controlled 74% of VW's voting rights after crossing the 30% ownership threshold, triggering a mandatory turnover offer. There was also a domination agreement that caused a short squeeze, where investors who had bet against VW had to buy shares at higher prices, making VW temporarily the most valuable company in the world. Porsche managed to buy 51% of VW, becoming the majority shareholder. In 2009, Porsche decided not to take over VW and instead planned a merger. The final issue of a $9 billion euro debt delayed the merger. In 2010, Porsche was sued by investment funds and accused of fraud and market manipulation. This move left Porsche heavily in debt and near bankruptcy. Seeing Porsche's financial weakness, Volkswagen bought a 49.9% stake in Porsche. In 2012, VW purchased the remaining 50.1% of Porsche AG for 4.5 billion euros, making Porsche a fully owned subsidiary of Volkswagen AG. Porsche, controlled by the Porsche and Piëch families, remained Volkswagen's largest shareholders. Volkswagen bought other car brands for many years, becoming a bigger player in the car market. In 2022, 25% of Porsche's shares were sold to the public when it was listed on the stock exchange. This public listing allowed investors to buy shares in Porsche, while VW retained majority ownership. Today, Volkswagen owns 75% of Porsche. Porsche had a successful year in 2023. They made sales revenues of 40.5 billion euros, a 7.7% increase from the previous year. Despite challenges like supply chain disruptions and high costs, they maintained an 18% return on sales. They plan to launch new products in 2024, including new models of the Panamera, the Macan, the Taycan, and the 911. For 2024, Porsche expects a return on sales of 15 to 17%, with sales revenues between 40 and 42 billion euros. Moreover, Porsche aims to focus on sustainability. By 2030, they plan for 80% of their vehicles to be electric, depending on customer demand and the progress of electric mobility in different regions. They are also investing in e-fuels, which are renewable synthetic fuels that can make combustion engines nearly carbon neutral. Porsche started its first e-fuel plants in Chile to demonstrate large-scale fuel production. They plan to use more eco-friendly materials in new cars, like the all-electric Macan, which will be produced in a carbon-neutral plant using green electricity and renewable energy for heating. Volkswagen, the people's car company, is facing a tough year ahead, with profits expected to remain about the same in 2024. Despite a competitive vehicle lineup, the company faces financial inefficiencies and political complications due to its ownership structure. Volkswagen makes good cars, but it isn't managed well financially. Its stock is cheaper than other big automotive industries like Toyota, as it is less efficient and doesn't make a high profit, making it a risky choice for investors. And that's the wild tale of how Porsche owns Volkswagen, and Volkswagen owns Porsche. It was a bold move by Porsche to seize control of Volkswagen, but it ended up backfiring spectacularly. Now, here's the thought. Could any other car company pull off a takeover like Porsche once attempted with VW? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more intriguing stories. Thanks for watching.